is updated and has all the information you need to get past the practice exam. My name is Sharon Butler, and if you haven't seen the first video or the one right prior to that that talks to you about which book we're using, that's the one I suggest you go to, but it is the practice book with Walt Hubbard. So I'm going to start on page 4 of this one, and it talks about your sphere of influence. Now, if you want to be a real estate agent, you really have to build your sphere of influence. What do I mean by build your sphere of influence? Well, your original sphere of influence is your family, the people that you already know, the people that come to your birthday parties, the people that come to your weddings, all the people that already know you. That's your major original sphere of influence. But as you grow older and as you meet people, you go out and you do networking. And the more you network, the more your sphere of influence grows. And that's super important when you're in real estate, because a lot of people try to sell you all these ways to get business, ways to get leads. And networking to get leads, when you're doing passive aggressive networking, is the hardest way to get leads. The easiest way to get leads is to go out and meet people. I got to tell you, one of our students said to me, he goes, "What do you think is the best thing to do?" And I said, go to any networking thing that you can go to. Anytime you get a chance, "Hi, how you doing?" Anytime, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in such a long time. I'm working out of Walt Hubbard's brand new practice book." And he starts with actually how to interview your broker and how to get your sphere of influence to grow. Now, he doesn't talk about growing your sphere of influence, but this is something that I really wanted to share with you. "Hi, how you guys doing?" And he talked about the sphere of influence and people that you know and that you want to build relationships with. But he also talks about your actual your Facebook page, your Twitter page. And that's interesting because it's a brand new book and it says Twitter and it's not Twitter anymore. But anyways, start growing your LinkedIn page and all the pages that you have that are closer to you, because LinkedIn and Facebook are closer to people that are your original sphere of influence. So everything and growing. Yes, everything and growing, everything you want to do to grow. So the other thing that people don't talk about is going to, networking things. So one of our students asked me, I said, not only your sphere of influence, but start going out and networking and really make sure that you have business cards with you, but also ask for their information. And so he did. And his very first day out after he got his license, he went to a networking event. I don't know which one it was, but he went to a networking event and he started talking to somebody that said that they were going to buy a home. And he asked him a lot of questions. Like I always teach my students, ask them when they're thinking about buying, have they been pre-approved with a lender yet? And all these really important questions. And the guy said, "Yes, I'm pre-approved. I haven't found a real estate agent I want to work with. How about I give you a try?" And the kid got it right after he got his license, and it was an $850,000 purchase, and his commission was 2.5%. And he was ecstatic, and he contacted me after he closed it. So he actually closed a deal by going out and networking. You have to get your butt up and get out of your house and start meeting people. So the sphere of influence, you can get it to grow as you go out and you meet people, but you really have to stay connected to them, if that makes sense. So the sphere of influence is on page 4 in Walt Hubbard's practice book. And then he goes on to talking about interviewing with your broker. And interviewing with the broker is really important for you to know that you're interviewing them. Okay. You're interviewing them. You're asking questions about their business. You're asking, what are you going to, I hate to say, what are you going to do for me? But when you're interviewing with brokers, you're interviewing them more than their click, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a great situation, then you might not want to work with them. Remember that they want to hire you. Their business is a numbers business, and they want as many licensed people that can come work with them as possible, because they're thinking about your back to sphere of influence. And the reason they're thinking about your sphere of influence is think about the numbers. If I have 20 real estate agents working with me under my license, and those 20 people have even just 100 people in their sphere of influence, then guess what? Oh yeah, you're asking me about going to brokers open. I know I'm trying to keep focus. I missed your question. Maybe it'll pop up again. But yes, go to the brokers open. Now, some cities and some areas don't have a broker open. So let me stick. Hi, how you doing? God, you guys are all so cool. You're all popping up. I didn't know if you guys would pop up on a Saturday, but it's been a really rough week and I'm trying to figure out how I can be live as often as possible. But again, it's gotten really tough taking care of my mom. And I know a lot of you baby boomers, if there's any baby boomers on here, we're the people that were born in like 1963 to like, I want to say like the end of 1960s. And all of our parents are starting to get older. And so with our parents getting over, oh, because you love me. Oh, I love you guys too. We got to do a meeting where it's just everybody that always pops up when I go live, and a live meeting. And I don't know where you guys are all at, but I am going to be in Sacramento. And I do want to, let me finish the class. And then I want to talk about Sacramento, because everybody that has a real estate license, everybody that doesn't have a real estate license, anybody that cares about buying a home ever needs to step up. And I know I can say step up as often as possible, but look up who your local legislative representative is, whether it be your congressman, your assembly person, and start writing letters, because what's happening right now in real estate, we're being attacked. And it's ridiculous. It's an antitrust issue, and antitrust means we fix the price and we fix it so people can only work with us. That's absolutely 1,000% not true. And I say contact your congressperson and say, to me, you're ruining the American dream. The Department of Justice is destroying the American dream, and we're all standing by and letting them do it. But I can't get too much into that because I am the president of my local association, and I don't need, not that I don't need to, but I can't say too much about some of the things that are going on. It sickens me to see actual people who are licensed real estate agents getting on TikTok and YouTube and on all the different social media platforms and talking about stuff that they really don't know is really going on. We even have somebody who's opening his own association. I asked somebody that knew him, has he ever been to an association meeting? Because that's what the next thing is on the next page. It's talking about your local association. So let me finish on the broker interview. When you're interviewing somebody to go work for them, you're interviewing them. They're not interviewing you. All real estate offices want to bring on real estate agents that are licensed so that when they bring on you, they also bring on your sphere of influence. And they have more people coming to them that will possibly buy a home underneath their license. And that's just a natural thing to do. The whole point is we're in business to make money and to help people buy houses. Well, I want to say homes. I don't want to say houses because I'm more in the business to help people find their new home. But it's all depending on what you're doing it for. Real estate is an awesome career that you can have that will help people buy their first home, move on to their next home, and then when they age, they might want to downsize and get their final home. So, I mean, what a great career that we can follow people and help them build wealth and help them build what we call generational wealth. So that, like, for me, I have been generational wealth. I bought extra properties, and then when I pass away, my son will be able to pass them on to his children and their children and their children. So with all that said, your broker interview is not just them interviewing you and making sure that you're selling yourself, but you're also in your head thinking about how bad do I want to work for these people? And what I've told people recently, one of the most important things is this. If you go to work for an office and within the first week and a half or 2 weeks, you're feeling like they're ignoring you, they're really not doing what they said they were going to do, go back to that broker or the sales manager who interviewed you and talk to them. Say, I was really expecting a little bit of more help. Now, remember, this is a self-starting business. And because it's a self-starting business, you really need to put yourself out there and not expect somebody to do everything for you. So the interview with the broker, you need to put your best step forward. But at the same time, you want to make sure you're picking the right broker for you. If after a week and a half or 2 weeks, you have a conversation with the broker and they don't do what they said they were going to do, then it's time to go back to some of the other brokers or sales managers you interviewed with and talk to them about what's happening and that maybe I should have had a different choice. Maybe I should have picked your company. Can you tell me if it would be any different working for you than it has been for the last couple of weeks with, let's say, ABC Real Estate? Okay. So interviewing with the broker, you have to put your best foot forward. At the same time, You want to make sure that they do for you what they promise to do. The next thing it talks about is your association of realtor. Make sure you say realtor, not realtor. There's no A in there. And it's interesting because the company that wrote this textbook, Walt Hubbard's practice book, they're right out of West Covina, which is really close to where I live. And they actually have a picture of Citrus Valley's Association of Realtors building. And some of the associations own their own buildings and some of them don't. And it's not that you get to pick your association. You do in a way at this point. So back in the day, you would go to a broker, and whichever association your broker belongs to, you would have to join that association. Now, many times, because brokers have agents everywhere. I mean, they just don't have agents at their one office. They may have agents from different locations, and those agents want to be part of the association in their local area. The broker will then go ahead and join. For instance, I have a listing right now with a young lady named Megan, and she got her listing out in Brentwood, and she belongs to an association out in the San Fernando Valley. And that one is closer to the listing. So I went ahead and I joined the association that she belonged to. So we looked at both ways. Should she join my association or should I join theirs, the one she was already at? We looked at the cost. We looked at what would be the smarter way to go. And we kind of negotiated with each other which association would be the best one. Hey, it's Ray. How you doing, Ray? And I want to know how many of you now have your, so that's the lesson of the day. The lesson of the day in the practice book is how do you pick a broker and about your association and how you pick your association. So that's the lesson of the day. And then we're going to move on through this book looking for things that might be on your final in the practice book and also on your real estate exam. Now, a lot of the stuff in California is also on the real estate exam. That's the national real estate exam. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, and I didn't want to get too into it in the middle of the class, was what's happening today in real estate. Today in real estate, it's very difficult to see where we're going to be in the next few months. So right now, there was a settlement agreed on, but the settlement has not yet been approved by the judge. So if you're watching this and the approval's already been done and real estate has already changed, then that's one thing. But right now we're in the middle of a mess. And the mess, it wouldn't be so bad. I don't mind the fact that we shouldn't say the word commission, we're going to say fee. And I don't mind that we have to disclose how much money we're making to our buyer or seller, because we've always done that. We've always talked, a good real estate agent will tell you how much money they're making and how it works. And I can do a whole video on that. However, right now it's going to be changing. So doing a video on that's going to be probably not really worth it. The problem that I see is how the lenders are going to look at the concessions that the sellers are going to be willing to pay, and how now, instead of it being a commission to the real estate agent from the seller, it's going to be a concession from the seller to the buyer. So far is what that looks like. Now, we're not sure about that, because we have to make sure that whatever we do, that it matches what the settlement requires, so that we can go on and make sure all real estate agents who are currently working and all new real estate agents that are working will be able to do their job in a manner that's still helping homeowners, still being able to secure the home for the buyer. The problem I see right now, and everybody's talking about, is the people that are looking to buy for the first time home buyers and home buyers in America. And I just am trying to be so careful with what I say, but it just seems so unfair that one seller back in, I believe it was Missouri, one seller in Missouri was upset and went to an attorney. That one seller exploded into a class action lawsuit, and these people think that they're going to get a lot of money. And the best thing that I can say without talking about our lawsuit, I'll talk about the one that my dad was in. So my dad, without knowing it, was in a class action lawsuit against Mr. Cooper. Prior to being Mr. Cooper, I believe it was Nations Bank. And apparently somebody complained about how Nations Bank, I believe that's the name of the company, did their business. So they ended up with a class action lawsuit. In a class action lawsuit, I'm going to explain to you right now how it works, so that you know, just in case you want to do something else other than real estate. Maybe you want to become an attorney. So how it works is, they're trying to make the company or the association, whoever's in the lawsuit, work a better way for the consumer. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. They're not trying to get the consumer a bunch of money. And so with that said, What's going to happen is in a class action lawsuit, I asked my attorney how it works. And how it works is the attorney gets all the money. My dad, the inventor, yeah, my dad who has 22 patents. And so what happened was his mortgage loan company had a class action lawsuit against them, and my dad got a payment. I don't know how much the first payment was because I didn't see that. So what happened was, I got to tell you, what ended up happening was I got the last check. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it said important information, and I opened it up, and it said, this is your last payment or your payment on your class action lawsuit with Mr. Cooper. And it was, are you guys ready for how much the people in the class got? $23.26. Now, if you read any of the articles that are out there in the register, they actually said they calculated out to be somewhere between $15 and $20 is what the sellers in the class action suit will get. So it depends on how many sellers there are. So what my attorney explained to me is how it works is the attorney goes to the court and shows him all his expenses, how much it costs to mail out the information to the class action and all the expenses it costs the attorney and his hourly wage, and he submits it to the judge. The judge then makes a decision of how much money the attorney or attorneys in the class action will receive. Once they take that amount out, which could be anywhere from a quarter to, I want to say it's a quarter to 3/8 of the amount of the money, the rest of it is distributed throughout all of the class action plaintiffs, which in this case is from 2019 to 2022, anyone who ever sold a home. So if they opt into that, they will be lucky to get somewhere between $15 and $25. And then the attorney is the one who gets the attorney gets the lump sum. All the people in the class action split the leftover, which comes down to a way smaller amount. And unfortunately, that one person who started this chain against real estate agents who are doing nothing but try to help people buy homes, it's going to turn out to, a whole different way that people will have to obtain their American dream, if at all. So the fact that real estate agents who are realtors really want to help, really want to do what's best for the buyer and the seller, the ones that are really out there, fighting for homeowners' rights, to have this happen and change the whole way that people have done real estate for over 100 years, I'm just kind of I'm really disapproved with the fact that we're letting it happen. I love being a realtor. I'm not saying realtors are letting it happen. We're fighting as hard as we can for it to be in the best way that it could be for the consumer. But I'm surprised that, even from the White House, they released an incorrect statement. And if the White House really knew how this was going down, I think that we might be able to see something else. It says, focus on being listing agents now. Focus on being listing agents now. You want me to tell you what you should focus on? Just so that you see where I'm thinking. So focus on being a listing agent. Focus on probate sales. Focus on divorce sales. I always say that we like to focus on the D's. It's batshit crazy. Yes, it is. I'm telling you it is. So focus on what I've always focused on, and that's the things that change in people's life. People get married. They need to get a new home. Okay, so you're going to have to work with a buyer there. People get divorced. You can work with the seller there. People die. You can work with the seller there. You can flip homes. You can buy homes, and you can represent yourself with a license. If you have your license, you'll see what's on the MLS. You can represent yourself. If you don't get a huge commission, that's okay, because you're going to fix the property, and maybe you can negotiate a lower price because you're not going to have a commission. And that's only because you're representing yourself and you're able to do that and negotiate the price lower. And you know what? I got to tell you, when you're flipping a home, the most important part is to get the property for a lower price. So maybe you can get the property for a lower price as a flipper if you're licensed, and then turn around and make your profit on the other side. The other thing you can do with a real estate license is become a loan officer. And as I stated a couple of videos ago, I am going to be teaching the mortgage loan class. And I have a date for it already. We're going to start advertising it. And it's the mortgage, the MLO national exam. I'm going to be teaching the exam prep for that. And the other thing you could do is you could also work at timeshares. People that work at Disney and Marriott, those are the two highest ones that people make a lot of money at if you can get in. So there's lots of things you can do. I want to take that class. Cool. Door knocking. Guts. What's it say? It says door knock our guts out. Yeah, door knock your guts out. So, I mean, still getting the license is amazing. Yay. Gonna send folks your way. Oh, please do send folks my way. So anyway, we're going to get on advertising for the MLO class. And I just started this thing today. I will always do that. I will always start with the practice class. I'll go on information about the practice class for approximately anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes. And then I'll open it up for questions and anything that you guys want to ask me and talk about. But like I said, with the lawsuit, I have to be very, very careful. I just think that it's unfortunate that we have a lot of leaders. We have assembly people and we have senators and we have a president. And if they can't see what this is doing to the lower income buyers and they can't stand up for them, I don't know how much they can fight against the Department of Justice. But the Department of Justice, I hate to say, isn't doing real estate justice. So that was a really good line, huh? So I don't mean to get myself into trouble with saying anything wrong. I'm just saying what is my heart and what is my feeling, because I have been helping homeowners, not just with buying homes, but with getting and securing their home loans since 1986. And since 1986, I have had no complaints, and I've seen nobody complain about how the real estate fees are paid. And they're saying, the other thing I have to say is, it's the attorneys that are saying that realtors make too much money. What about the attorney who's probably going to walk away with over $200 million? He's going to get somewhere between $100 and $200 million. Is that right? That's like winning the lottery. Do you know how many first-time home buyers could buy a home with that for a down payment assistance? So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to speak with you and have comments on there talking about it. But I also think that you should reach out to your local legislator and send them a letter. Send them, do you guys understand how this is going to hurt the lower income people on their American dream? So if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me. I look forward to helping you with your real estate license and your MLO license. We'll see you soon. Have a great, great, great weekend. Bye.